let's talk about something a little bit different than we normally talk about here. So, normally we're busy complaining about how bad Windows 11 is, telling Linux users we don't want to switch, talking about video cards and stuff like that. So, today we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So, this is for the cash strapped computer nerd who wants to buy computers. I know, it's kind of dumb, but I think this is important. So, I spent many years. You probably think I'm, into IT or something like that, but I spent many, many years until very, very recently dealing with cars. I've sold cars. I have worked in service. I've detailed cars. I think I did it for 7 or 8 years. I think I've worked at 3 or 4 different dealerships. Um, and I think I have a fairly firm grasp on this topic. So I'm in the position myself right now where I have enough money. I've gotten to the point where I have enough where I can support one comparatively expensive hobby. I would like to buy fancy cars, fast cars, shall we say. Not necessarily fancy, but I would like to buy cars. I don't really have the money to support both cars and computers. I hope at some point I do. I'm sorry, I'm supporting 2 expensive hobbies. I'm supporting computers and I'm supporting photography. So I want to spend my money on computers and photography. I do not want to spend my money on expensive gas, on vehicle maintenance, reliability stuff. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to spend my money on that. If I could be driving around in a BMW or a Mustang or something like that, and it was just as reliable and fuel efficient as my car, I would, but I can't, so I don't. Um, so my recommendation for cars, and again, so now the job I do, I have always done jobs that require a lot of driving, thousands of miles. I drive, so as it stands right now, I put about 1,500 miles a week, give or take, on a vehicle. And it's been that way for many, many, many years that I've been doing that. So I also see, I don't just see what's in the garage at the shop when I worked at dealerships. I see what's on the side of the road too. Um, so my recommendation, I am a Honda guy. I like Honda Civics. During the time that I was doing delivery and setup on site, I had Honda Civics. I had one that I put 350,000 miles on, which is, I mean, probably more miles than you've put on a car. Um, I do like Civics, but those aren't the only options. So you're looking for good gas mileage, good reliability, and also long-term reliability as far as something that you can put a lot of miles on, both something that doesn't break in general and something that can go a lot of miles without breaking. So there's only really a few cars in my opinion, and I don't care. There's going to be people that are going to be fanboys of this or that. I don't care about your opinion. I literally do not. I've worked at enough shops. I've been around cars enough. I know which ones are reliable and which ones are not. Okay, don't come on here and try to tell me your BMW is reliable. Just because yours hasn't, mine hasn't broken. I don't care. That's not to say other vehicles aren't good cars. It's just there are certain vehicles that are more apt to be able to take large numbers of miles because they're not made to be exciting. So typically, in my opinion, you're going to be looking for Honda Civic, some Honda Accords. Some of them have some minor transmission issues. Generally speaking, Civics are a better option than Accords for miles, although I do know there have been cases of Accords that have gone a million miles. I still think as a general, like if you were to take a sample of each car, I think the Civic is a better option as far as having less to break, less complexity. Also, Accords generally tend to have more powerful engines than Civics, so you're also more likely to be giving up gas mileage on an Accord versus a Civic. I would also, again, I drive Honda Civics. I have a very nice Honda Civic. I have a Civic Touring, so it's more like an Accord. Um, but I get 45 to, on the high side, I've seen as high as 55 on long distance drives out of it, miles per gallon. And I personally have put 135,000, 35? No, 140. I'm 140,000 miles on my 17 Civic Touring right now. Um, I have not had a single failure. I mean, I'm still even on the original brakes and rotors because I drive pretty light to be able to hit those kind of mileages. If you're not into the Honda thing, I think that the next best option is going to be Toyota. Actually, I don't want to say next best option as though it's less. I think that Toyota and Honda are about on par. Um, Again, you're going to have fanboys of both, but I think they're both about on par. So I would be looking Toyota Corolla. Again, Camry is a good car. Camry is reliable, but I tend to think that you're going to be better off with the lower models, with both the Civic and the Corolla, because you're more likely to get a higher mileage. I guess unless you go hybrid. So that's your another option. Hybrid. If you're going to go that route, I'd really look at a Prius, something that was designed. I mean, I know Toyota uses kind of the Prius platform in some of their other cars, but I would look at a several year old Prius though. Like I'd look at like a 2011 to like I don't know 2015 or something Prius, which you should be able to get at a decent price. The other thing is you don't want to be spending all of your money on the damn thing either, right? So with Toyotas and Hondas, Priuses, Civics, Corollas, buy the car with 100,000 miles or more on it. And the reason for that is because these vehicles are more reliable than a lot of the other vehicles on the road. However, they depreciate at largely the same rate as other vehicles for similar mileage. So you're going to be better off to buy them at mid mileage. 100,000 miles is not high mileage for a Civic or a Corolla or even a Prius, to be honest. So you're better off if you're on a budget to try to save the money and buy something over 100,000 miles, or else you're going to be paying a ton of money for, especially if you go sub 50. Definitely do not go sub 50,000 miles. You try to go sub 50,000 miles on a car like that, you're almost just as good off to buy it new, to be honest. Yeah, don't go sub 50, and I would definitely say go north of 100 just to save on the depreciation, but you've also still got a reasonably reliable vehicle. And as a computer nerd, especially if you're going to be doing computer sales and like buying and selling, you want every single mile on that vehicle to cost you as little as possible. Now, this isn't advice I would give towards people that are, you're high up in your IT career, you're making a bunch of money. You go buy yourself that BMW. Don't be that stingy person that's like, I don't spend money on cars because they're a depreciating asset. Don't be that person if you make like 3, 4, 500 grand a year, even like $150,000. Go buy yourself the car that you want. You're making good money. That's the whole point of money. Don't be that guy. But if you're like me and you're still somewhat on a budget on your vehicle, you want every single mile on that car to cost you as little as possible. That means as little to fuel, as little per mileage maintenance, uh, and as little purchase cost. If you want to break it down into miles, as little purchase cost as possible. So just some things, just some thoughts for how to not spend money on your car so that you don't have to spend money on a new transmission instead of a 5090. Anyway, that's my opinion on the matter. I hope you guys find this interesting, and I hope this helps somebody out. Thanks for watching.